Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This is Rasikaapriti Devidasi, and today I'm not speaking from Nilachal Vedic village. I'm speaking from my new home, and which is out of the farm, though we are still connected to the temple. But we have moved here with some preaching services, and that is the reason I wasn't able to post the regular classes. But now that I'm settled, we'll continue with our reflections weekly on Bhagavad-gītā, and I thought it would be a good day to start from Govardhan Puja, and it's also New Year and it's Diwali. So, this would be a perfect opportunity to start this. So, let us dive into, and for those of you who are new, you can refer to the previous videos of the Gita Way. And today we are doing the next shloka, that is shloka number from chapter number 2, text number 14. Okay. So, we shall begin. Um, so, let's begin with the invocation prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृन्दा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. So, reading from chapter 2, text 14 of Bhagavad-gītā, the shloka is Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadah agama paino nityas tam stitiksha svabharata. O son of Kunti, the non permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Okay. So let's look at some key points from Srila Prabhupada's purport. Okay. So, first key point is life's dualities are temporary. So, just like the seasons come and go, there's pleasure, so there's pain, there's success, there's failure, and there's gain, and there's loss. All these are fleeting experience, and nothing is going to stay permanent. So, they belong to the body and the mind, not to the soul. The soul is the only thing that is eternal and permanent. And whatever we are experiencing is an experience of the senses, of the body, and of the mind. Yeah. The second point of reflection that we have from Prabhupada's purpose is the wise. Those who are wise, they are very steady, So those who understand that these changes are temporary, tam titiksha svabharata. It's like you have to tolerate titiksha. Yeah. So those who understand that these are like even we saw in the previous shloka, dhira statrana, the dhira vyakti, those who are steady, they understanding that these changes are temporary, they do not get too much disturbed. Yeah, so they continue performing their duty with equanimity, staying anchored to the actual self, knowing that they're the soul and they're just having these experiences, and they are not getting too disturbed by the external conditions or any kind of effect that comes to them. Now, tolerating is not suppression, it is spiritual growth. No, often, especially in today's time, tolerance is considered as a trait of weakness. It is considered as something that you don't do it, because tolerating means you're just suppressing your emotions and you need to fight back. So in this situation, yes, you can fight back, but you can fight back the disturbances. You can fight back the agitation that the mind experiences from the situation. Yeah. So tolerance, sorry. So true tolerance, Titiksha, is not numbing ourselves to pain or pleasure. It doesn't mean that, oh, let me become numb, It is remembering that what is your highest purpose amidst all that. Recently I was rewatching this movie Bhag Milka Bhag, the Bhag Milka Singh. I don't know if this is an actual event, but at least in the movie, there was an episode when he was really beaten and his legs were all swollen and he had to run. And when he wanted to run, it was like there was legs his legs were swollen and he was in so much pain, and yet he ran, and not only did he win, he also won. So because he was so focused on his goal, that he has to run. So when we are focused on our goal, what's our higher purpose, then all these momentary pleasures and pain, they don't they just they just become like fleeting seasons, matra sparshas, like they're just touching you. Yeah, and they're fleeting. Sukha, Dukha, Shitoshna, Shita and Ushna. Like, similarly, like different seasons, they're just passing by. And this strength then grows from spiritual awareness, not from hardness of the heart. So it's not like I'm so hard hearted, it doesn't matter. I would like to just elaborate a little bit over here. So there was a time in my life personally when I thought I'm a very tolerant person. At least I would say people who knew me around the years of maybe before 2014, 15 or something like that, I might come across as a person who was very tolerant and very submissive. And even I felt the same about me until I was really tested and when I noticed myself losing patience, and it was surprising for me, like, I'm this very stable and tolerant person. Why am I losing my calm? Why am I losing my temper so much? And that's when I did a lot of self work using the different healing modalities that I work with. I visited EFT, NLP, inner child matrix, and I worked through a lot of traumatic memories. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because in that moment I realized that my tolerance did not come from my spiritual strength. It came because that's the way I'd learned to survive. That it was a coming from an archetype of people pleasing. Like if I'm not tolerating, then nobody will want to be my friend. I'm just chosen as a friend because I'm very patient and I can tolerate any nonsense. So people can behave however they want with me and they can get away with that. So this was not true tolerance. This was a trauma response rather, and it came from a space where I believe that oh, I'm such a spiritually advanced person, but in actuality, I was not. True tolerance, like it's mentioned in this shloka, will come from spiritual awareness, not from your situation. So it's not to be mistaken for the hardness of the heart or, like a trauma response that I had, or because I'm such a cold-hearted person, because devotees are not cold-hearted. A follower of the Vedas, a follower of the scriptures, as soft as a rose, but when needed, it can be as strong as a thunderbolt as well. Yeah. So it's not the hardness of the heart. It's not your trauma response. It's coming from, if it needs to come from spiritual awareness. And that is why it is important to evaluate ourselves. We spend so much time externally that we hardly have any time to go internally. Like, we hardly make an internal inquiry about where are we headed. Yeah. So here's the most interesting, at least I like this section of this videos that how do you reflect upon so I'm going to give you only three questions today to reflect on this week until we meet again next Wednesday. Your first reflection: what situation in my life trigger emotional highs and lows? And how can I remind myself they are as temporary as changing seasons? Second question: do I confuse tolerance with indifference? What does spiritual tolerance means for me in daily life? Third question: what helps me stay steady and centered when life doesn't go as planned? I'm loving these questions because I personally reflected on them a few days ago. In fact, I'm doing it since a few days, and I'm very happy that the life, for me at least, did not go as planned. Because it has gone according to Krishna's plan, and they're beautiful and they're brilliant, honestly. So, to conclude with, the Gita always reminds us that everything that touches our senses will pass, but the soul, our true self, remains untouched, eternal, and peaceful. So next time you have a wave of joy or a wave of pain that is coming towards you, just pause, breathe, and whisper to yourself, this too shall pass. Hare Krishna.